see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face.
Oh, I'm from Brooklyn.
Hey, guys, any...
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
What's up, everybody? It's another episode of Coast to Coast, and I am your host, Pags. I have with me Bo, and we've got McLovin coming here shortly, but we've got a special guest today because there was some special news that got announced yesterday. The Philadelphia Eagles are going to open up the season, and they're going to be going it in style down in San Paulo. I know I'm killing it in Brazil. So everybody who's a Philadelphia Eagles fan is going to have to start learning Portuguese. And I have got a very good source about that area. Alex Marcon, he's originally from that area in Brazil. He now lives up in Canada, but he's an Eagles fan. And he's all excited.
Man,
he is all excited to go back home. So, what's up, Alex? Good to see you here,
guys. Good.
How's it going?
It's an honor, guys. It's amazing, just amazing.
So, I mean, let's start off with the moment that you heard that your hometown is going to be hosting the first ever NFL game in South America. What had to be going through your head?
No, it blew my mind entirely because ever since we moved to Canada, like almost 15 years ago now, and we never came back. I really didn't have like a reason to go, I do have family and friends, but there was not a strong motivation to go down. And then I see the Eagles post, like, what? Gotta go.
That's where you hope the friends and family don't see this. They're like, "Oh, you finally coming back after all this time?" You're like, "Yeah, it's for football. It's fine."
Some friends already told me exactly that. Oh, we are waiting for you for so long.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. That is awesome. I like I said, I was in the middle of something else, and I got a text message from a friend of mine that says, "Hey, I guess you're going to Brazil." And I said, "I'm going to Brazil." And then he sent me the posts, and I'm like, "Oh, snap. Snap."
There's Carnival. So if anybody says you're going, you just say yes, and you go enjoy your time.
Exactly. So, and it's going to be, like I said, we're opening up the season there. It's going to be on September 6th. So the winner of the Super Bowl will still be opening up on September 5th. So that's, right. I believe Labor Day is September 1st this year. So it's got to be very early. If that's September 5th is probably that Thursday, the 6th is the Friday. And, and then you're saying September 7th is a holiday.
It's a holiday.
Right there.
It's Independence Day down in Brazil. So
wow,
and Independence Day on a Saturday is about to be wild.
Especially with a ton of Americans down there, all doing Eagles chants, and we don't even know who we're playing yet. We just know that it's a home game for Philadelphia. Okay. So it's going to be a blast, and I can imagine that. I might as well put this right out there right now. You could start booking your tickets right with Philly Sports Trips at phillysportstrips.com. Go ahead and you can go ahead and put down deposits. We're getting everything together. Obviously, the news came out yesterday, so we're scrambling as best as we can. But Alex, talk to me here. What are some of the things to be expected down in Brazil in this area?
Well, to be honest, like the cheering over there is completely, well, not completely different, but people are kind of fanatic about soccer and stuff. And I believe it's going to be this exactly the same environment for football as well, because there's a lot of football fans over there, and if it's the same energy, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And in my mind, when I saw the post, in my mind, I started, my mind kind of flew away, and I was like, because if you watch some soccer games, you see some like banners, some crazy flags from the teams, from the organized cheering for each team.
Right,
I
right.
I was just picturing like an Eagles huge flag over there. That would be amazing if we can get that.
I have a monster flag.
Yeah,
I have a monster flag. So
that would be
I
crazy.
that would be the perfect thing to kind of fly over there. I think it's the 1960s championship flag
Oh yeah!
that was flown at the 2004 Super Bowl.
Wow.
So I somehow acquired that. So bringing that down would be amazing, and having that go fly up there. When you say that that they are pretty fanatical down there, I
Yeah.
got to imagine that I'd fit right in then.
Dude, you have no idea.
So
That's why I started following you like back in the days, in the years now, and it's like, oh, shoot, I found someone that resembles the energy.
well, and it's like people are already asking me. I've gotten tons of text messages today saying, "Have you started practicing Portuguese?" Because it's Portuguese is the language down there, correct?
Yes, that's it. It's
So
Portuguese.
I got to learn how to do
That's
the
right.
Eagles
Duolingo,
chant
here
in
you go.
Portuguese.
There you go.
Get that phone app. Yep.
Yeah, but I can imagine this is going to be a blast. And I feel that the tickets down there should probably be, I mean, I assume that they're going to be somewhat expensive for Americans as they try to get down there. So it might be better for me to get tickets through you to
Well,
get down to the front row.
yeah, well, I'm gonna check, and then I already pinged some friends over there because it might be easier to buy from there. I could be wrong, like it might worth going
So
that route.
so based on my experience in for the Mexico City one, is it will sell out immediately.
Yes.
Yes.
So it
That's true.
I was living down in Puerto Vallarta when the game was there, and I had NFL Plus, or Game Pass is what it was before, right? And
Right.
you had this pre-purchase option, right? That gave you a chance to buy it the night before. I wrote down the wrong day. I missed it altogether, right? So I called the next morning, and their stadium, which is bigger than ours, right? Their stadium was close to 100,000, I think it was. Sold out
Like
in
120,000, I thought, in Mexico City.
exactly. Yeah, it's huge. It's huge.
That's the largest stadium in the world, I believe.
It sold out in like an hour and a half. So
Wow.
by the time
No
I
doubt in my
called,
mind.
they were all gone.
Yeah.
So it was. So if you got friends down there, they got to be on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah, that would be massive,
So
man.
what is, obviously I assume that football down there means a whole different thing than it does up here.
Yeah.
That's that Brazil. It's very. I know that they have lots of leagues down there as well, and Brazil is always really big in the World Cup. So I
Yeah.
have to imagine that this stadium that they're choosing, I got to hold about 100,000 people, if not more.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the size, but I know that if it is the stadium that I'm thinking about, it's the one that was built for the last World Cup in Brazil. So
Oh,
it's like
that's definitely a hundred
Okay.
thousand plus.
it's a new one, like, and as from what I heard, it's like a state of the art kind of place. It's easy to
Awesome.
go, like subway, and then you hit the subway, and then you get right there, and then you just walk a little bit and get to the stadium. I heard it's easy, and yeah, and it
Okay.
looks amazing. They say it's kind
And
of a fancy spot and stuff. I'm not sure, but because I've been there, but It looks nice.
Tell us a little bit about the city. I mean, like I said, I know it's been 15 years since you've been there, so there's going to be some changes, but obviously it's not completely changed. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh, it's a huge one, man. It's like if you've been in Mexico, it's probably close to Mexico City size wise. If I'm, it's huge. It's quite big. There are lots to do there. There's like some good stuff, some parks, and some good spots to go check it out. But it's
Right.
yeah, it's a big city. It's more like a enterprise city kind of place. Doesn't
Similar to like
resemble
New York, you would say, like a New York
yeah,
style, or Los Angeles and such. Uh,
yeah.
I and that because when I think about that, when I was in Brazil, I've been to Rio.
Oh, okay,
So in
nice.
Rio, and I mean, it was a long time ago that I've been to Rio, and it was in the Navy. Well, I was with the Navy, so it was a little bit of a different time, and it was uh, before the Olympics made it down there. So it was even,
Right.
like I said, there was some. Rio has got certain challenges that they face as a
Yeah.
large city like that. It's just
Yes.
uh, does is and São Paulo is that's the capital of Brazil, is it not?
No, it's not. The capital is Brasilia, which is north, but
Okay,
that's where the business are. Like it's where the main companies are. Yeah, it's but it's a huge and it's kind of exactly the same thing that you're mentioning about Rio. Like there are some challenges. Especially
right.
because it's big.
Especially because of
So
the amount of people that they have there. So it's
yes,
just that's the hard part about this. But
yeah,
I assume that it's big. It's close to the equator, right? I assume that it's not. I mean, it's further south than Rio de Janeiro. So is it on
yes,
the bottom side of the point? When I think of the
yes,
point, I think of South America. I think of Brazil going to a point, and then
yeah.
there's the south side.
Yes, it's kind of southeast somewhere. And well, just to have an idea, like São Paulo, it's about, I think I would say like about an hour from the beach. From like there is a beach right there, and then you can branch it off and go South Beach or maybe North. But yeah, it's really close. It's really
Nice.
close. So
So,
it's nice. It's a good spot. It's good. It's good to visit.
well, and I have to ask this, obviously, from being from Brazil and then moving to Ottawa, how did
Yes.
you become an Eagles fan?
Dude, I before my immigration and so I because before when I was a kid, I thought I liked it, the Bills. We wouldn't watch many football games, like we would like watch like important games only, and it was a challenge to see. So we couldn't follow up. And so when I immigrated, I said, okay, now I gotta choose a team. Now it's the time. And I was in that kind of like, oh, okay, let me check and start kind of following. And then I went with the family down to Florida. And then on the way back, I didn't tell my family, I didn't tell my wife. So, okay, we gotta, we have a shortcut. We gotta go through Philly. Hey, why do you want to go to Philly? I said, oh, don't worry about it. Just give me the instructions and we follow back to Philly. Because I had to see the Rocky Steps.
Okay,
Oh,
okay.
okay. Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
when I hit the town and then I saw the first thing that I saw was like a huge banner of Zach Ertz with every fall we rise.
Mm.
Shoot, that is, like that was a punch to the heart. It's okay, I'm an Eagle now, and that was it.
There you
that
go.
was
See,
that, and there was like
And it's Zach Ertz's fault. I like that.
it is, man. Because when I saw that banner, like and people dressed up and the same energy that I resembles Brazil, like people crazy about it, wearing the colors, and everyone talking about it. It's like, shoot, that's that reminds me home. That's good.
So when I think about that, and obviously when you were in Brazil, uh,
Yeah.
what games would you get to watch regular season games, or would it only be the Super Bowl?
I remember it was only the Super Bowl. Like when I was a kid, when I like afterwards, like that was before like cable TV and stuff. Uh, at that time, then I would assume there would be, but I couldn't follow. I wasn't really following, but I'm sure it was passing on cable. Right now, I don't know exactly how they are watching. What I do know, which is quite interesting, a friend told me that last Super Bowl they went to a movie theater because they were passing on a like a special session that they were streaming on a movie theater
Hmm,
all
that's cool.
across the country. I said, "Oh, that's that's neat to go to
That
watch a
is
game on a. That's cool."
On the big screen in a movie theater. I like that idea. I think that that makes a lot of sense, especially to areas that aren't really familiar with American football. I mean,
I mean,
I'd have to imagine that soccer
Yeah,
is played on the weekends as well. So you usually would have soccer games happening at the same time as as American football. So it
that's
would
it.
be tough to be able to watch both.
I mean, I think
But
Yeah,
that would work domestically if they did it in some of the iPicks, right? Where you got the reclining chairs and they bring you food and alcohol and stuff like it. I think you could watch the Super Bowl there pretty comfortably.
that's
uh,
it.
especially if your team's in it, like our team was last year.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
That's it. And I
but
heard that they were like some spots like over the beach, and I think I saw some like some celebrities watching the games as well. Like Vitor Belfort was watching the Eagles, and it's like, oh, this is nice. This is cool. So yeah, it was cool.
that's
It's
I
just
can. So, but not only that, obviously, we're talking about the Eagles going down there in September, but in 2026, uh, they they are having the World Cup here, and the Lincoln Financial Field in Philadelphia is going to be hosting 6 games, 5 regular games, and then one top 16. Our field is 16 games. So it's
wow.
going to be interesting to kind of see that. Um, and Brazil is one of the teams that always does fairly well
Yes.
in the World Cup. Uh, I mean, I believe that it was one of your neighbors, Uruguay, won the first World Cup, and I got to imagine you don't like hearing that ever. But
No,
it's but I figure that's some of the stuff that I know about.
that's it.
It's I figure that'd be fun to kind of talk about a little bit. But what are your thoughts? First off, is Ottawa hosting any World Cup games?
I'm not sure. I think we did like for the Women World Cup, like the previous one. I think there were some games in town. Uh, for the next one, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if Ottawa was chosen as the
Yeah,
city there, but what are some of your thoughts? Obviously, I have never been to a World Cup game.
oh, me
So,
neither.
and I am a fan of soccer. I follow the Philadelphia Union, and I have been to some CONCACAF games where we're
Right.
playing against the Mexican and Central American teams. So that was kind of interesting to watch with their fans. I've watched a game where the Union went up against Miami, where Messi was his first time in Philadelphia, and that was a very unique setting in general. Just
Right.
because anytime you have one of the best players in the world
Yeah.
come, everybody wants to be there. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun to watch him play. It wasn't very fun for my team because they didn't play very well, but
Yeah.
I think they were just as much in awe. I think that
Right.
was the first time that you get to watch him on a field that even
Yeah.
as a player, like even the older players still look at him as so like they revere him so well that
Yeah.
you're almost in awe watching him even on the field. And I think they did that a little too much. They were watching him a little too much and they weren't
Right.
playing against him. And he was able to do things uh, more so than he really probably should have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I can
but
see that.
what can be expected from in Philadelphia and for the other cities that are hosting the World Cup in the United States? Obviously, soccer isn't as big here, But
Yes.
what is to be expected with the World Cup and watching these games?
I think it's gonna be crazy, man. Well, do you remember '94? '94 was in the US, and that World Cup actually we won our fourth star at that one, by the way.
Right?
And,
That was in Atlanta, I believe. I think they had it in Atlanta.
yeah, and well, it is always a big thing, right? It's always huge. Maybe not as huge like as Europe or South America, Mexico, but the fans will come, and it will be big. It will
I
be
know
huge.
they had a friendly at Lincoln Financial Field not too long ago, where it was Mexico versus Germany, and the Mexicans that came up, they went all out. Like
Oh
I was painted up to go to a baseball game that day, and it was they were out there partying like Philly fans. Like it was like Philly fans go out and they start tailgating very early. Like if
yeah,
it's a
yes,
4 o'clock game or an 8 o'clock game, they open up the parking spots at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's going all day long. So,
that's it.
and that's exactly what happened here. The Mexicans, I mean, and some of the Germans too, were out there. The game didn't start until 8 o'clock, and they were out there at 6 o'clock in the morning partying it hard. So, I
Yeah.
kind of expect that that's what's going to happen here
Any reason to
with
tailgate,
these.
man? I mean, we
Exactly.
have the night game in Seattle. We're gonna hit the tailgating section first thing in the morning. Like it's we'll bring the stove out and make breakfast in the tailgating spot. So
Yeah,
you have
that'll
to
be
imagine
awesome,
soccer
man.
is exactly that.
So,
Yes.
but it's going to be an amazing time. And will you make it to any of the games? Maybe because as it's going to be happening, you can come here and check out the Phillies games and stuff like that
Oh
while
yeah.
that's happening.
Oh
It
yes.
should be
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Oh, that
There,
should be
there is
amazing.
one in Toronto.
Oh,
Toronto is
there's
one of the
one.
locations.
Nice.
So
Nice.
yeah, the two Canadian locations are Toronto and Vancouver, so over by us.
Nice.
But yeah, yeah, should be
That should
crazy.
be.
Should be crazy.
That should be crazy. It should be. I know that when Messi came to play in Toronto, it kind of sold out in like real quick. That's what I heard, and
Yep.
and that was like a couple of months ago. And so I can't imagine that it will be the same, exactly the same thing.
Tickets when Messi came here, and this was all part of it. He wasn't here for the regular season, MLS regular season. This was maybe the MLS Cup
Right.
that was happening. So, and he came here for that game because Miami had come. He was slated to come to Miami, but wasn't done with PSG yet. So
Oh,
he
I
was
see.
still playing as PSG when Miami came to Philadelphia the first time, and then when they came back for the U.S. Cup, or yeah, I think it was the U.S. Cup. Um, that's when everybody came to town to watch it, and it was uh, the moment they opened the doors, everybody with standing room only went racing to get their spot. Yeah, because once you get your spot, you don't move. You better be whatever you wearing depends because you're not getting back into your spot. If you have to go to the bathroom, you're stuck. So,
That's it.
but anything else that you'd be able to tell us about? Uh, yeah, Brazil and said Paulo. How do I say it first?
No,
How do
you're
I say it?
saying right. No, that's good enough. That's São Paulo. That's it. You
Sao
got it.
Paulo. Okay, that's
That,
okay. I wasn't sure. I thought I was
no,
killing the
that's
name.
good.
And
No, that's good.
how do you do an Eagles chant in Portuguese?
Oh, I don't know how they do there, man. I have no idea. That's a good question.
Well,
But
I mean,
I would
if you
not.
were to spell it, I would assume you spell it the same way, right? You're not going to, but they have the equivalent for EAGLES down there.
No, I think it will be the same, and people will follow the English version. To be honest, man, I'm pretty sure of it. Oh, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure. Oh
Because
yes.
I figure that we're going to be scoring a lot of touchdowns, and I'll have everybody singing the fight song by the end of the day. That's
Well,
going to
there you
be a
go.
great time.
Oh
Yeah.
man, I
So,
and you mentioned the tailgate. I can't imagine how that will be down there. Like with those samba schools and like the carnival stuff. I think
Absolutely.
this. I'm just picturing something huge, and yeah, I can't.
Well, and especially, how do they celebrate Independence Day? Do they do it the same way that the Americans do it here, like fireworks and parties and such like that, or is it a little different?
Well, I think it's a little different. Depending on the town, there is always like the military just crossing over and making like a parade, depending. But the last couple of years, as far as I know, there's been like some political issues, let's say, same as everywhere else in the world, like
Right,
some
right.
divisions and stuff, which is what like I believe, like personally, that the sports are good for, right? Like they bring people together no matter what,
Right, that
things.
it's you, whatever side of the political fence you are on,
That's it.
sports is the fun. It's supposed to be fun. We're not supposed to be yelling or angry with each other. It's a day of
That's it.
celebration rather than a day of frustration.
That's
But
it. Yeah, so and that's actually something interesting that you mentioned, like because over like down there, like for soccer wise, that that was something that because when I went to watch the Senators here in Ottawa, I saw people from both teams coming together to watch. And in my mind, so I was looking for, okay, where does the Ottawa guys come and the other cheering come? Because the interests are split in Brazil. They we don't mix, like the teams, they like the cheering people, the crowd is separated. But I
right,
don't see
and
that.
is that done because of when you watch over in Europe and you see certain things that happen, like when Manchester City and Man United go up
That's
against
it.
each other, there's a reason why they have to have police in between the two fan bases because it gets very toxic in that area. Is
That's
it
it.
very similar to that in South America?
Yes, if it's not worse, like there's some games that right now I know that they are kind of closed for cheering people. Like depending on the match, there's no fans inside. Like it's like an empty stadium, which is sad. But
Right.
especially from my town, like there was like some ugly things, and they kind of separated, so it's always like an empty stadium, which is it's not good. But from what I heard, is like on the NFL is kind of different. Like people are coming together, like especially for these movie theater sessions. They come wearing their own jerseys and they watch together, and it's like, oh, this is there's hope.
Right, because it's
Yeah.
not. It's a little different than the team that you have. Like I've grown up an Eagles fan all my life, so
Right,
when you put me next to Cowboy fans, there is a natural banter that will occur in general,
right.
where uh, it's different down there. They don't banter; they fight because it's like the birthright.
Well, they
It's
also don't have a home team though, right? So it's a little different in that way too, because you don't necessarily have a team that you grew up with, right? Because
Yes,
there's not a local team. So you're enjoying the sport, like you like a team, right? Like you pick your team, but
yes,
it's not necessarily the same as if you grew up with it. Like, here in Seattle, we just got the NHL, right? So
right,
did I watch the NHL? Did I like some teams? Sure. But I didn't have like that NHL team growing up, right?
right.
We had the semi-pro guys, lower level leagues, whatever, and then we finally get it. And so like I follow my team, but it's not quite the same as you know me following the Seahawks because it was my team as a little kid, right? So your banter back and forth is a little different.
Yeah,
I can
that makes
imagine.
sense. That makes sense.
But you are definitely going to this game, correct? So we will
Yes.
definitely see you down there.
Oh
You know,
yes.
Got
you
it.
know, and,
Got it.
and
Oh
do you
yeah.
think that
Fun.
I will be well accepted down there, being all painted up? I should bring extra paint to paint other people up down there. Is that
Oh
something that I
yes.
should?
Oh
Because
yes.
it's I can imagine it's going to be crazy. I fully expect to be 100% painted up, and doing my thing and wearing the shoulder pads all weekend long and all week long. It seems like I probably will be going 100% Philly sports guy that entire trip.
No,
So
and while there, I believe the soccer championship will be on at the same at the same time. So if you make the time to go watch, like for anyone going, I would say take the time to go watch another like a soccer game on Sunday because there will probably be one. Like go watch something in São Paulo because there are many teams in São Paulo, so you can just choose one. That would be nice. That would be nice too because there are a couple of stadiums in São Paulo city. It's not just that one. There are like a couple, and yeah, so there will be more matches. That would be nice.
well, I'm excited for it. I hope that I hope they allow me in with my shoulder pads because that's going to be the big deal. Like obviously,
Yeah.
it's that's it's in a whole different country. You never know what the rules are going to be.
That's
So
true.
and I mean, I imagine people will paint their faces, so I won't have that problem. But I may have the problem with the shoulder pads. So, but
It could
I'm
be.
going to wear them anyways. I'm going to wear them, and I will. Like if I have to get special dispensation from the NFL to be down there, since they used my picture, the NFL and Yahoo
Yep.
both used my picture with Jalen Hurts that
Nice.
to say that they were going down to yeah, South America, and they used my picture with a quote from Roger Goodell. So I'm if I have to go ask Roger at
Yeah.
the draft to be like, hey Roger, am I going to be okay wearing my shoulder pads in South America? I got to get the okay from him because
Yeah, probably
you know
gotta
then
pass
Got to get that special paint so that it doesn't melt off while you're sweating because it's gonna be warm.
That's also
I
true. Man.
yeah. How hot does it get down there?
Oh, it's pretty hot, man. It's like I heard that it's been like on the 30 plus almost every day.
Yeah, so
And
that'll be
Oh wow.
90, low 90s.
yeah, it will be
That'll
hot.
be very very hot down
Yeah.
there to be
Yes.
wearing shoulder pads. So I will have to be drinking a lot of bottled water down there.
Yep.
So
Do, do,
because
do you know what time it's gonna be? Not yet, right? It's probably gonna
well,
be.
But it'll get to be a
so
normal game time because it's the same time zones.
is it the same time zone as New York?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so then yeah, this is going to be a normal time. It's just going to be
So,
Friday night at 7:30 at night, I think.
well, that's probably better. That's probably better. Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
it'll be
can't
all the
imagine.
it'll be all the pregame that'll be while you're doing pictures and stuff like that. That's where you're gonna have to use some paint that's got some lasting ability to it.
Well, my paint.
Yeah.
The good thing about my paint is that it doesn't really run. You know what I mean? And it actually holds up really, really well. So but I will make sure. They always ask me to put on some setting spray. I may have to go with the extra setting spray on this one just to make sure that it's all 100% because it's going to be a warm one.
Yep.
And cheering, I got to feel like if I'm going to be leading a country full of people doing an Eagles chant and an Eagles fight song,
Yeah.
I am ready to do that. So I am ready to take on that challenge to the best of my ability. I will have my voice raring to go.
I can't imagine, man. I can't wait, And the sad part is that I could never go back to Philly yet because then COVID hit and a bunch of other stuff. I couldn't go back to watch the birds there. And now, but okay, the first game will be in Brazil. So
There you go. So you get to go to the home opener because it is a home
there you
game for
go.
the Eagles. We don't
Oh,
know who we're playing yet. So somebody asked that a little bit ago.
Yep.
We do not know who the opponent is yet, but they did announce that it was going to be the Eagles. And I was surprised because I thought that Eagles were going to get the Germany game. But once they said that somebody else was getting Germany, I was like, all right, I guess we're not doing anything. The fact that they are, you know what? Robert, unfortunately, it will not be the Cowboys. They will not do that because obviously that's too big of a home game rivalry. So
Yeah.
it
yeah.
wouldn't be the Cowboys for that. Uh, Ultimately, it's probably going to be the 17th game. So, and I believe our 17th game this year is against the Colts. So I kind of expect that it would be the Eagles versus the Colts. However, it could be also any of the teams. It could be Cincinnati with Joe Burrow. It could also be the Steelers, which would also be a kind of fun game to witness down
Yeah,
there. So, because yeah, actually, it couldn't be Cincinnati. So it would either be Cleveland or Pittsburgh or uh, the Colts. And I think it's going to be the Colts. Just my opinion on that, because I can't see
nice.
them having a conference game or a divisional game down there. Maybe a
Yeah,
conference game, but it's like unfortunately it would have to be like Green Bay. Green Bay would be fun to play down there, but it would be all
yeah,
green. I don't know that they would do that.
right, right.
Too much green in one spot. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. But it's going to definitely be a lot of fun.
And something that it's worth mentioning, the soccer teams we do have like some, how do I say, some colors, and we stick to that color, right? So for that team, for that stadium that I think that will be in the game, that is a black one. So if we are gonna play in black, that would make sense. I'm not sure, but if they're gonna talk about it or not, that would be interesting to see.
It's possible they could do the Browns. It's possible that they could do the Browns. We play the Browns at home this year. We play the Steelers at. Well, no, we don't play the Steelers at home. Or do we play the Steelers at home? Yes, we do play the Steelers at home, and then we play the Colts at home, and that's our 17th game. So it's one of those three that I think is really going to be the one. And we have Jay coming on a little bit early. Hey, Jay, we have somebody straight from San Paulo. Paolo, here talking to us about the game that we're going down to, and you guys aren't. The Cowboys lost out again.
Yeah, and I wonder, what is your name, sir?
Alex.
Alex. I wonder if Alex, understands the jersey that he's wearing. I mean, I don't think he does. I think he's wearing it because he has green, and there's green in the Brazilian flag, and I think he's trying to, be more home country certified. And Alex, there's nothing wrong with that, sir. Nothing wrong with that. But I got to be honest with you, man. You're out there with the Loservilles. I mean, you're out there. You're not going anywhere. You understand it. I'll give you a Dallas Cowboys jersey. I'll get it down there to you.
There was no Rocky Steps in Dallas. There was no Rocky Steps in Dallas. That was another way that they missed out and lost. They were losing again.
Actually, I think he does need a Cowboys jersey because they usually start fires at some of these parties.
He's going to need some kindling. He's going to need some kindling.
Listen, Alex, don't take that from Bo. He has his shirt halfway open because he thinks he's part of Saturday Night Fever back in the 70s with the gold tank. Look, you can't trust a man like that, okay? You can't trust that man, okay?
Hey,
it's all right. Look, he had no chest hair, Alex. He opened up his shirt, but he ain't got no chest hair. You cannot trust that guy.
Yeah, some of us don't need to look like a Wookiee, okay?
You see what he came back with? He came back with, I have a lot of masculinity, and he can't handle that. It's okay.
I don't know. I bet you if you shave that beard, you won't look very masculine.
Oh, leave Gandalf alone.
You see that? You see that? Alex, I thought you had to be on here with these guys. I'm here to help you out. And look, we're going to get you squared away. You don't want to be no Eagles fan.
And of course, like I said, we have Cowboys fans that we banter with. Obviously, this is a Cowboys fan. And he's a Cowboys fan that lives in Houston. So it shows you what kind of bandwagon he's on.
No. That's not necessarily true. Let me tell you something, Alex. See, because look, here's the difference. Eagles fans. Eagles fans, they hang out with Eagle people because they don't want to go outside their cluster group. Now you're kind of an anomaly, but I think it's because there's a cultural barrier that will work out with you later on down the road. But right now, understand this: Cowboys fans, we go everywhere. If you look at Cowboys fans, you know why? Because we're not scared. I'm not scared to go into enemy territory and defend my team. That's how passionate we are. You don't want to be with no Eagles fans.
Own house, so.
Hold on, Eagles fans. I go to every stadium. Every stadium. How many stadiums do you go to a year?
Hey, did you see the last one that he went to? Did you see where he was sad and depressed? Do you really want to look like that? They got memes. They got
I
literal
mean,
memes.
he does kind of
Literal
have.
Hold on, hold on.
memes about it, right?
You know what?
His
You know
own
what? If you
people.
were there at
Hold
the
on, hold on.
game,
His
if
own-
you
hold
were
on,
there at
Alex.
your game, if you were
Hold on,
there at
Alex,
your
this is
game,
true,
how,
and I
how
think Alex
depressed would
saying-
you have looked?
You would have
listen.
looked very similar for sure.
Hey,
That's
hey,
true.
listen, Alex. This is
Here's
the
something
same
kinda
guy whose
crazy.
own people turned on him for causing the Eagles to lose out in the playoffs. Do you really
I
want to be
saw
associated
that.
with a guy like that? You don't want to be associated with that. His own people are turning against him. There's a revolution. Viva la revolution in Philadelphia right now. People going against Pags. You don't want to be with that guy.
So
Come over to the
I was
winner's
looking
side. I
up,
got you.
I was looking up the stadium they're going to play in, right?
Right.
So they're playing at the Corinthians Stadium.
Yeah, yes.
It
That's
only
the one.
seats 49,000.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's that. I mean, it says it's the 5th largest stadium there, but that's not a big stadium by NFL standards.
I was about to say, what is the
No.
average NFL? What's the
Like
average
60
NFL attendance?
something.
Is it 79,000 or 60,000?
It's generally in between 60 and 80,000 is your average NFL stadium.
Oh,
Right.
interesting.
So
Because
that
they
means you know
just
what? They're
built
going to
that
have to boost the
stadium.
prices to overcompensate not having the seats there. Or they're going to charge a lot more at the concession stands. One or the other.
I was just surprised that they
Yeah.
were going to use that stadium because that's actually an older stadium. As I recall, Corinthians is like a 50-year-old stadium, isn't it? Something like that.
Well, no, but this one they built. They built in 2014, I think, for the World Cup.
Oh, okay. Okay, so
Yes.
it's a different one than I was thinking. But yeah, I mean, still 49,000. That's not a huge stadium.
Well, no, that's the stadium that they're playing in.
That's what it says. And this is from NFL.com.
Didn't Brazil at one point host the World Cup?
Yeah, that was 2014.
Yep.
Right.
If I'm not wrong.
What stadium did they play the World Cup in?
Yeah, that was built for the World Cup.
Yeah, so I'm saying, so I mean, that probably is the biggest stadium they have, Bo.
No.
That's where they held the World
It
Cup.
said it was the 5th largest, but still, I mean,
In Brazil? It's the 5th largest in Brazil?
yeah.
Possibly, yeah. Because they're the biggest one, I think it's in Rio, Maracanã, I think.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, I think so. That's the biggest one. I'm not sure, but
But yeah, I was surprised to see that low of seating. So I mean, there's going to be no problem selling out. So you're definitely going to need your buddies to get them tickets like, as soon as they drop.
let's see.
Hey, and you got to learn how to tailgate. Y'all tailgate down there in Brazil? Y'all got some good tailgating going on down there?
Well, for soccer, yes. There's always like some samba schools.
Listen, we're not talking. We're talking about American soccer, American football. Okay, I'm asking you a question. Do you
See, now we know why you're a
tailgate for
Cowboys
American
fan. You don't even
football?
know the difference.
I don't understand. No, I know that. I'm saying, why do people always? Well, you know, the real football is called soccer.
Right.
I know it's called soccer, but we're talking about American football right now, and I don't know if
There you go.
I don't look. Maybe I have never been to a soccer game. To be honest, with you, I never have, so I don't know exactly what they do at soccer games. I've never been to World. I think we got the World Cup. Believe it or not, I think in Houston it comes in 2026. So I'm going to get to go to my first World Cup, and I'm really curious to see, you know, how it's like, what it's like, because I've never been in my life. So everybody says it's the greatest thing in the world, so I'm about to find out, I guess.
Yeah, it is interesting, but I don't tell people in Brazil, but I prefer the football.
Right, damn it.
That might compromise my interest to the
Speak your
country,
truth.
you know. But,
Now we know why you're in Canada. Now it makes sense.
Pags, are you going to go to World Cup in Houston in 26?
Yeah. It's cool because actually
I'm
Houston
going to be
gets
doing it
it.
in Philadelphia.
Seattle gets it in Philly.
Okay.
So I think that they are calling it wrong. It's where the Corinthians play. So they're saying it's the Corinthians Arena, but it's the Neoquimica Arena. The Neoquimica Arena.
yes, that's the one.
Oh, okay.
That's
So
and
funny
it's got 49,000. It says it holds 49,000
Interesting.
people. So about 50,000 people are going to be able to go.
Interesting. I
So,
thought it would
but-
be bigger.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they may, maybe standing room only maybe help with that as well.
I mean, it is the first one down there, so maybe they're seeing what kind of traction they get.
I'd be curious to know what the average, what the cost in U.S. dollars would be to go attend a game like that in Brazil. Like if you want to buy a ticket to the game in U.S. dollars, I wonder what it would equate to.
Yeah. Well, how much would it be like to watch the games here, like in US? How much is
really
an average
depends.
ticket?
It depends on the team and the stadium. So like at a Seahawks game,
An Eagles game is naturally somewhere around 300.
yeah, and for the Hawks, it's about the same.
Well, that I think I could be wrong on the exchange, but it's like times 4. That would be in reais. That would be the exchange rate, kind of.
Oh, okay,
Roughly.
I got you.
Yeah.
All right.
So which
Yeah.
is quite
And
expensive
it's
down there, like. So I'm not sure if they're gonna like bring it down to have more people in it.
Well, you would
it could
think
be-
that it probably would be, right? Like you'd probably look at pricing in, I don't know, like a Dallas game where it's like $50. No, I'm just
You see that? You see that? You see how petty these people are? They're just
no,
petty.
but
They're just petty.
it honestly would probably be something like it would probably be something like a Jags game or something where it's going to be like $150 would be my guess for your average ticket.
So,
Like,
if,
obviously,
if
there's gonna be more
you're saying
expensive
in
ones,
Brazil,
but-
so if you're going to go to
Right.
the game there in Brazil, it would probably run you about $150 American
Yeah, so if it's times
on
4,
average.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, times
So-
4, which is like a kind of an average price for a concert, kind of like
Okay,
around
that would make
$700.
sense. That would
Yeah,
make
so
sense.
it's somewhere there. I would follow that.
Interesting.
and it's
Well,
it's
travel down there wouldn't be bad because you're probably just going to have a layover in Mexico City, right? Like you probably fly into Mexico City and then down from there.
I would, yeah. I don't know if they have any direct flights into Brazil from. I don't know. They might.
They might.
Yeah, they might get a direct flight from
They
Brazil.
might out of New York.
actually,
Yeah.
and coming out of Philadelphia, I mean, we're probably going to charter a flight because there's going to be that many people that are going to want to go. So we'll probably charter a plane for that.
Nice.
That's what I would think. I would consider that. You know what I mean? That would probably be the way to go. And if we did stop, we'd have to stop in Miami. So
Right.
Yeah.
So, Pat,
And-
you're heading to the game. You're going to go to the game in Brazil.
Oh yes.
where else would I be? Where else would I be?
I don't.
Houston.
I don't
of
miss
course.
games. I don't miss games.
No, I didn't. Have you gone to the games in Europe, or is this your first
I
time?
didn't. I did not go to the game in Europe when they played there. I was doing a job that I couldn't get off of, and I was making a lot of money on that job, so I didn't go to the game. But
Well, that's what I was asking. I didn't know if you went to games outside the U.S. But okay.
I go to games. I can go to games anywhere they play. If the Eagles were playing in Tokyo, I'd be there. Yeah.
And what do you guys think about those games in Europe? Do you guys like it?
On the West Coast, it's great. That's a 6 a.m. game. I get to wake up, have some breakfast. Football's already on. It's awesome.
Yeah, with you on that, man. It's nice to watch a game like at 9 a.m. I love it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I don't have a problem with them playing the games over there. I think I think it changes the dynamic a little bit, and see how guys can adjust to the time difference and things like that. But some people, like Robert, do not like it at all. No.
Not a fan. Like there's not even explanation behind it. It's just no.
No.
Just Oh, that's awesome.
But it's cool. I mean, I like the fact that the NFL is going to different countries. It grows the sport, so I mean, it's a healthy thing.
Well, and I mean, they got to do it, right? Like if they want to grow past where they're at, they have to explore global viewership. I mean,
right.
You got to do it. So I'm not mad at it. In this one, it's even easier because it's the same time zones. So it's not like it has to be a special time or anything like that. I'm sure it'll be the primetime game like that. That would.
Oh, it's going to be the primetime game.
But yeah, I mean, it's kind of a neat setup. Like I wouldn't mind getting on that plane and going down to Brazil. I was actually supposed to go there a few years ago, and then COVID hit. I was going to go for Carnival because we have friends from there, and we were actually going to travel from Sao Paulo down and like follow the floats through the country, right? Like it was going to be fun. And then COVID came, and obviously Carnival got canceled 3 years in a row. So didn't make it down, obviously, but was going to be a cool time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
It's all good, man.
actually I have so let me see if I sound right. Voam Agias Voam. Does that sound right? Does that sound right?
Yeah. Ah, yes.
No, I
That's
killed
Yes.
it. I killed it.
You did.
That's what it says. That's the way that it says it on Google.
Google
Voam
Translate.
Agias Aguias Voam.
Hey,
There you
Alex,
go.
I guess.
do you think that when Pags
Voam
comes to
Agias
Brazil,
Voam.
if you think when Pags comes to Brazil, do you think he's going to talk to the taxi driver, tell him to go somewhere, and he's going to say it wrong? He's going to wind up some completely different part of the world that he didn't try to go to. I think he's going to have a
getting
hard time.
kidnapped for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Excuse me one second, guys. I'll be right back. So give me one second. Continue talking.
I think he's going to get trafficked. I think he is. I'm telling you right now, a guy like Pags, there's going to be ransoms.
You know, the thing that he's not telling you is he's the one that's going to fly down and kidnap him.
See, there you go, put my business out there.
Oh, man.
To my lawyer, I'm not doing it. To everybody else, I'm not doing it. But
Nice.
I just think Pags is going to have a good time down there.
Oh, for sure. So you guys will like this, right? I'm an avid coffee drinker too. I see you guys' cups, and my mom thought this thing was hilarious. So to give you an idea of the scale of this cup, I can palm a basketball.
Oh, wow. Man, your mom must have really wanted you to have your morning coffee. My mom gave me a coffee cup and it said, "Shut the F up." And I'm like,
Yep.
So I think my mom's advice.
And I thought this one was big, man.
Oh, wow. That's a big cup. What about you guys and your big coffee cups, man? Do you need that much coffee in the morning? Bo, do you require that much?
This is a 2-hour show. I can't go get another cup. I think you'd notice if I was just like, "Bye, guys." Like,
I'm just saying, that's a big coffee cup, and you're going to be on the toilet for a while.
there's no way I'm drinking that much coffee, man.
Oh, I believe it. He does. I think you're over there with an IV out of the coffee cup into your veins.
The thing that's hilarious is the carafe, because I was like, I have to drink out of it for one day. She gave it to me yesterday, right? So I had the carafe next to it. It was the same size as the carafe. I was like, there's no way I'm going to drink an entire pot of coffee on this show. Like, I'm just not going to do it.
Nice.
I don't know. That is a very large cup.
It is. It is
it's
crazy.
It's a large cup. I'd like to see a plate that matches the cup. That would be insane.
Yeah, I believe they call that a garbage can lid.
That's not even a plate. That's a platter.
No, exactly. It's a garbage can lid. Literally.
All right. So I'll go ahead and preface this tomorrow. Tomorrow we are going to have somebody who played in the Super Bowl come talk to us about the Super Bowl. Hollis Thomas is going to join us for a little while tomorrow.
Awesome.
So
Nice.
it'll be fun.
Sweet.
Tried to get him on today to talk about it, but he said to make sure to tell Alex, thank you for being an Eagles fan. Thank you for allowing us to go down to, not that you really had anything to do with it, but, for allowing us to use your home to go play the first, South American game, because obviously they didn't want to give that to the Cowboys because they know.
Hey, Alex, remember, you got to remind Pags to put the toilet seat up. He don't put the toilet seat up. You'll have pee everywhere. So make sure you tell him and Brazil to have better manners than he does at home.
Do you know if they have toilet seats down there? Do you even know if they have toilet seats?
Yes, they do. See, Alex, you see what he did there? He's assuming you're not civilized.
That's not true. That's not true.
He
I
thinks
just say
got a
that
hole
you've never been.
going
You've
out
never
now
been
with
there,
the
so
donkey
you don't
that
even
pulls
know.
the thing out the little back.
You don't even know.
Yeah. That's what he's saying. You ain't gotta take that crap. I'll get you a Dallas Cowboys jersey. We will treat you with way more respect. Because you know what? A Cowboys fan would come to your house with his own toilet paper.
Well, yeah, you got to soak up the tears somehow.
Exactly. It's that it doubles as Kleenex.
Hey, listen, I don't know if you saw the last game, but Pags was throwing a few tears himself. If you saw that game, you knew he had some tears.
Not one tear. I looked miserable, but not one tear.
Listen, I heard, hey, Alex, now this is not, I don't know if this is true or not, but I heard that at the stadium, that after everybody closed down, Pags was still in the urinal crying, and they had to call a SWAT team to get him out of the urinal from crying so much. It was terrible. It was almost an international incident.
There was bad water pressure. He was just trying to flush.
I believe it, 'cause I was the same here at home, man. I was exactly the same here, man. I was just like chugging tequila to calm me down, like, and go to sleep because I couldn't sleep.
There we go.
At all.
So, well, listen, Alex, we really do appreciate you coming on and sharing with us a little bit of information about where we're going and this game and being an Eagles fan. I'm sure as we get closer, we will get you back on our show. We'd love to have you again. Like I said, this is
that's an honor.
In fact, what we may do is we may have you come on like once every 2 weeks, and you could start teaching us some Portuguese. Some of the Portuguese that we would need. Like where is the bathroom? Like those are important. Those are important things to be able to say in Portuguese.
That's it.
Alex,
that's it.
So much power right now, Alex. You have so much. Don't even know. You have so much power. You can totally.
You're straight up going to get him
totally
beat up.
This dude in a whole other world traffic. Hey, I'll split some money with you. You give me the right directions, and we'll split some money. Okay, I promise, man. You'll be a rich man.
Nice, dude. Nice. That's awesome.
I'm sure because I'll cheat. I'm going to have my thing, so I'm just going to speak into a thing, and I'm going to let that do the talking for me. So I'm not even going to learn. I'm smart enough to know that I don't know how to speak another language. You know what I mean? I can barely say San Paulo.
I'd do anything to be Latino and be in Brazil and be your taxi driver. God.
No, that would not.
They don't have El Uber.
Oh man,
nice, dude.
Well, Alex,
and don't think that just because you put the Latino voice on Siri that it's going to help you out any. Okay.
I'll have some of the dialects wrong, but that's okay. So
yeah.
And Alex, once we go down there, my treat. But you got to take me to a real. I want some real dinner down there, like a real Brazilian dinner. So that's
some intestines in there, Alex. Don't give him that good stuff. You give him the real deal.
Hey, we know he loves Rocky Mountain oysters.
Don't give him no Tex Brazil. I think that Tex. Don't give him no Tex Brazil. You give him the real deal. You give him the real food down there. I want to see it.
That's it.
Let's go.
That's it. Gotta be
very spicy. I'm sure. So, but again, Alex. Thank you so much for coming on. We really do appreciate it. Have a great day. And we will definitely get you back on. Like I said, I'll be in touch. And like I said, we'll start learning Portuguese
there you
through
go,
through Alex.
Oh, yeah. Whatever you guys need, just hit me. And let's plan that.
Good to meet you.
I appreciate it. Go
nice
Birds.
To meet you guys. That was awesome. Go Birds.
Take care. That's right. Yeah. Have a good one, Alex. Thank you. All right, so there we go. We got Alex. Thank you for coming on. I tell you, I'm going to have to get on like some very hardcore Aj medicine because the spices down there are so much different than they are here, and I want to eat it all, but I got to be prepared. Because
I'm going to get on the phone with Alex later on. I'm going to tell him make sure you get some Rocky Mountain oysters, but not tell you the Rocky Mountain oysters.
They don't make Rocky Mountain oysters. They only make them for you.
Get a nice healthy plate. I'm going to call it to Alex. We're going to get you a nice healthy. And they're going to tell you, hey, these are beef balls. They're not testicles. They're beef balls. And he's just like meatballs. You know?
Yeah. That's what the rest of us eat is meatballs. And then
right. He's still doing that thing with the Rocky. He loves doing that. He loves eating all up, licking his fingers afterwards. That's it.
Man, that wasn't even a softball. That was like T-ball. You just set that thing up.
Right there.
Yeah, I do. That's pretty cool though, man. So you're gonna go down there. He's gonna open up his house, and y'all guys are gonna stay at his house while you're
No.
He lives in Canada.
He lives in Canada now.
I was in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he moved there
Oh, I
15
thought he
years
lived in
ago.
Brazil. Okay, I'm sorry. Man, I'm way off. Okay.
Well, if you
So his
show up on
family is
time.
from Brazil. He moved there 15 years ago.
Okay.
Hasn't been back since. So now this is going to be his first time going back to watch his favorite football team, the Philadelphia
Well,
Eagles.
there you go. Wow. Okay.
No,
Well,
that'll be cool. That'll be cool.
So,
man, I would love
anyways,
to ask him. If I didn't know he lived in Canada, I would have loved to ask him like how he handled the temperature difference going from like Brazil, where it's nice and warm, to Canada, where it's super
well,
cold.
we're going to get him back on here again. So definitely save your questions for next time because, like I said, we're going to start learning Portuguese here. So how do we say Dallas sucks in Portuguese? How do we say fly, Eagles, fly? Because I already killed that once. Let's see. Let's see what it says here. How do we say this? Let's go.
I'm going to go with however you're about to say it is not how you say it.
Dallas y murder. Dallas y uma merda. That's it. Dallas sucks.
Oh, man.
Hold on, damn.
And anyways, we're at the top of the hour. So listen, stay tuned as we will be back for the second hour of Coast to Coast right after these messages. Stay tuned.
I mean, you can see right now, without LeBron, Lakers are struggling.
Let me tell you about a team I hate, all right? I know the Dallas Cowboy fan is here, so I had to make sure he knew how much I hate this team.
I'm ready.
I've often said that the people who run baseball, they try very hard to ruin it.
I'm from Brooklyn. I don't have a problem saying it to his face. Oh, I'm from Brooklyn. Hey, get us any.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends. What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, "No thanks, not my thing."
Mom.
I promise you. Your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack your toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Supporting the needs of our veterans. That's the goal of all of us at Team AmVets. Like Mitch, Carlos, and Kevin from our Welcome Home team that brings furniture to our vets.
We are Team AmVets.
Or Linda from our thrift stores who brings you great bargains every day.
I am Team AmVets.
And John, who picks up your thrift store donations that support California veterans programs.
I am Team AmVets.
Visit our website or a Team AmVets thrift store to donate or shop today.
Join the team!
This is a presentation of Northeast Streaming Sports.
And we are back for the second hour of Coast to Coast. And, so obviously that was the big news yesterday. The Eagles taking over the stage. Since we weren't at the Super Bowl, they said, you know what? We're going to make them be the first ones to go down to South America because obviously nobody cares about the Dallas Cowboys or any other team.
Hey, no, you know what? You know, I learned something. Augius Sugum. It means Eagles are awesome. Augius Sugum. So when you go down there,
thought you were over there watching.
You're telling everybody Augius Sugum. No, seriously. Yeah. When you go down there, tell them Augius Sugum. They'll love you. They'll be like, especially Alex. Alex will be like, Augius Sugum. Augius Sugum.
Yeah,
I feel like that's not a real thing.
That is not a real thing.
No,
if you get us banned, in another country because of you saying certain words, you are going to get docked. on your pay.
I'm telling you,
So-
August Sugum. You just Alex, come back in here. Text in there what August Sugum means. No, all right. No, don't go down there saying August Sugum. What it really means is Eagles suck. I wouldn't want you to talk bad about your team.
No, that's why I got Dallas sucks. It's Dallas e uma merda. So
see, you have to put the word Dallas. I even know the word for Eagles. So you should have looked the word up for Cowboys. That's how lazy you are right now in your translation. August Sugum. And I even say it right. I don't even stumble on. See, you stumble on. I don't even stumble. August Sugum. I can do it all day. All day. August Sugum. See how great that is?
Oh man.
Hold on, watch
yeah,
this.
but first off, like I said, there is
Hey,
no
watch this.
Sugum.
Watch this. Oh man, my phone won't work now. You're lucky,
Yeah,
but it's August Sugum.
Just like I said, Dallas sucks. and
Oh man.
So, anyways, as I'm looking at for the news, Giants are hiring a new defensive coordinator, Bowen. So the Giants get Shane Bowen. He is 37 years old, but he looks like he had a tough paper route. He looks much older than that. So interesting about that. And they're starting to put out some of the Super Bowl odds and betting situations. So obviously the line is back up at 2. It was at 1.5 yesterday. It's back up to 2. So and it's flirted with 2.5, but it's gone down as low as 1. It's gone up as high as 2.5. It has not hit 3 yet. 47.5 has been the number for the last couple days. It opened up at 45.5. So, and let's see, it's the 49ers are a minus 145.
Yeah.
So for money line. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. Let's see what other MVPs. So here we go. Patrick Mahomes is a plus 130. Brock Purdy is a plus 225. Christian McCaffrey is a plus 450. And Travis Kelce is plus 1,400. Debo Samuel plus 2,000. Pacheco is a plus 3,000. Kittle a plus 5,000, and that's tied with Ayuk. Rashee Rice is a plus 6,000, and Bosa is a plus 8,000. Chris Jones a plus 10,000. Everybody else is not worth mentioning. So they say that the implied probability, it's either going to be Patrick Mahomes or Purdy or McCaffrey.
Yeah, that seems right.
So
yeah.
That's where I figure, the best money spent. You know what I mean? My expectation is that your best money is on Christian McCaffrey, although you could put a shekel on Travis Kelce.
I'm about to say, I feel like Kelsey's getting snubbed a little bit on that one. I mean, he's a huge part of that damn offense. I mean, outside of Patrick Mahomes, I mean, the next guy is Kelce in that team.
Yeah, especially if you think about it as like Hines Ward with Big Ben, right?
Right.
Where Big Ben didn't really have a good day, and his good throws were to Hines Ward.
Yeah. I mean, this is the biggest game on stage. So Kelsey's going to ball out everything he's got. So I can't imagine him not having an amazing day unless they just put a really big clamp on him, which I don't think is going to happen.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be as good as his last game, going 11 for 11, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I don't know if he goes 11 for 11, but I mean, in terms of yardage, I think he's going to have a huge day. I wouldn't even be surprised in terms of even touchdowns, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about betting, you almost wonder if you go after, because the all-time reception record for the Super Bowl is 15, 14, something like that.
Yeah.
So I mean, you could throw a dollar on Kelce resetting that, because he is his main target.
Oh, yeah.
right?
And that would
So
be
I
a
mean,
low risk and high reward. So
for sure, like there's little prop bets all around this game that could definitely hit.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to find them. Uh, it doesn't show them very well here, and I'm not a gambler, so it's not like I have a site that I'd be able to start to do that with in
Sure.
any real sense. But um,
The one
I mean,
that I thought was crazy, I heard a prop bet on CMC setting the rushing record, and that's never going to happen because that was over 200 yards. But it sounds like the return on it would be good because you're going to lose.
right. Oh yeah.
Well, and it used to be that you could get it would be a plus 8,000 for a safety. Not anymore.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Now it's like a plus 2,500. Yeah, because they got crushed on that one. It was like the first play of the game or second play of the game. Safety.
Over Seattle, yeah.
Yeah, so
yeah, that was like every kind of prop bet you could have wanted, you could have got in that game. Right? A safety, anytime interception. Like, I mean,
Wow.
it was, everything was in that game. Like, Vegas had to have hated that game.
Right. Yeah. And interestingly enough, Vegas doesn't like to lose, obviously. And they can lose more money in the Super Bowl than they can in any other game, for the most part, because they can't push the money one way or another. They're forced to take this one bet. So I love it when Vegas loses, and I love it when they lose
like
a lot.
23.1 billion right now are placed in bets. That's a lot of damn money.
Ooh, that is some
23.1 billion. I mean, that's a lot. Jeez.
I have $0 in bets.
I'm right there with you. I've got nothing in bets.
Oh
like
yeah.
Like I have. I thought about like where, I like me. I would bet the under on the national anthem and the coin flip.
Oh, okay.
From what I understand, and I was watching something yesterday where these two guys got all of the times that Reba McEntire sang the national anthem, and they said that the over and under time is off by a lot, and that you should bet the under.
What? That she's going to be terrible, or what?
No, that the average time.
Okay.
That now the average time for the national anthem.
Okay.
So last year, I always think that it should be under, but sometimes it is over because these guys like to make a 1 minute and 36 second song 2 minutes and 55 seconds. And it's
all
like
of a
really.
Sudden, all of a sudden, you're really hanging on that last note. You're like, "Come on, get me there, pay out, hold that note."
Oh, you're done.
Dramatic pause. Come on, let's do this.
Home of the.
Exactly.
Hey,
you know they have their own prop.
Home of the, and then wait for it.
Yep. Now that's how you know they have a prop on their own song. They're just like,
exactly.
Hey.
Or you start phonetically spelling the B to the R to the A to the V to the E.
Oh man!
Or right in the middle of it, they start singing, "Oh Canada."
Remix. Oh man!
But yeah, so those are the types of bets that I would make. I also like that the score is going to end odd.
Okay.
Oh, instead of an even number, it'll end on an odd number?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I
never know.
When you think about that, when you think about that, there's been more games that have ended in odd numbers than I think in even numbers when you go check it out. And I think it's only like 3 games more. I think there's been, but uh, and they also said, do you guys play block pools?
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, I have before. Yeah.
A block pool, a block pool, you buy a block and then you
Oh
get the
yeah,
numbers of
okay.
either team.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what was it? 1, 4, and 7. 0, 1, 4, and 7 are the best numbers to have.
147, huh? Okay.
0, 1, 4, 7.
Okay.
0, 1, 4, or 7. That it's that one of those numbers has been in the score in the final score 82% of the time. Interestingly enough, um, just letting you know, 5 is the worst number. Although although it hit last year, 5 and 8. Um, it's
I would have thought
it is
9
what
would
it
have
is.
been like a bad number.
Also, somebody did, and I love the fact that somebody actually does these. Somebody saw, or somebody did all of the math that 31% of the numbers have never come out at the end of a quarter or the end of a game. So
Crazy.
if you have 9-9, it's likely you're going to lose. So stop hoping for the field goal or that safety because it ain't coming. So
yeah.
But it was 0-0 comes up. I what's it like 8% of the time. So that's actually not so bad in the grand scheme of things. At the end of a quarter, at the end of a half or game. Um, there's been 0-0, 7-7, and 7-7 came out twice to end a game. Even though it's probably by a 10-point margin, I can imagine. It was like 27-17 or something like that.
Sure.
37-27. But interestingly enough. So stay away from the number 5. You do not want a number 5. If you have a number 5, you likely are not going to get your money.
Except you heard it on this show, so that thing is going to pay.
Oh.
Hey, listen, I haven't done any basketball bets as of late, but I can imagine that I got to get back to that again because I haven't really been checking it. And, especially after the All-Star game, that's when things really start to pay off. So,
yep.
Interesting.
Here we go. This is what it is. Last night, Chiefs money line, anytime interception for Mahomes, anytime interception for Purdy, anytime touchdown for Kelsey, and under.
Yeah, so if you're doing a parlay, that'd be your multi-leg parlay right there.
Yeah. I like doing those. If I was a gambler, I bet $5 on an 8-way parlay that it would hit me for $2,000 if it hits.
Yeah.
And the worst part about that is that like 7 of those legs will hit, but early on that second leg won't hit, and I'll stop watching, and everything else will hit.
Yeah, of course.
You bastards! The second leg missed it, but I called tails. And it was heads, and that's how I lose my parlay.
Man, yeah.
Yeah, betting on the coin flip lets you know that you can bet on literally everything in a game.
Everything. Yeah.
Wow, I thought you could. Yeah, the fact that you could take money, they are. I think it's a plus 165 right now that Travis Kelce proposes on the field to Taylor Swift at the end of the game.
I mean,
I think it's a plus 165. It's a minus 225.
That is the biggest stage. If you're going to do it, that's the biggest stage to be on. So,
I mean, there's some wow factor there, I guess. But, I mean, again, let you know that you can bet on literally any part of this game. There's probably an anytime injury that you could probably throw in on if you wanted to.
Probably a
No,
bet
I
on
doubt
which
that. I doubt
lipstick
that.
Taylor Swift
That
wears.
would have to be like a minus 10,000 because somebody is going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know, like if there's an injury stoppage, that would have to be a minus 10,000 at least.
Yeah. Well, I
Maybe
mean, you'd
even
have
more.
to select a player, right? Like it probably wouldn't be the generic anytime, but you'd have to be like, oh, whoever, right? So, but I mean, again, when it comes to Vegas, I mean, you can float money their way on just about anything, and they're like, yeah, we'll take your money.
What was it? What was it? It's I guess that was National Lampoon's Vegas Vacation. Hey, why don't we go up back? You give me half your money, I kick you in the nuts and call it a day.
Oh no. The best one was what is it? My cousin Vinny. So let me understand. If I kick you, or if I whip your ass, you pay me $200. If you kick me in the ass, I pay you. I'll take that bet. And then he fucking. I don't know if you ever seen My Cousin Vinny. You know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly. He said, "How do I know that isn't just 20 wrapped around a whole bunch of wines?"
Yep.
He said, "I finally got your money." Bam! Takes the money and goes. I love that movie.
Anything with Joe Pesci, man. Joe Pesci just, he always does a good job at whatever role. If it's serious, like Goodfellas, or if it's a comedy, I mean, he's all about it.
So my group is saying, "Hey, we found the game we're going to." So that's yeah. We go. I have a group that travels with me. We go one game. We've been doing it for years, and we're going to Brazil. So, and I already knew I was going to Brazil.
How many people usually are in the group that goes? Like, are you on a pretty
group?
good
My group is my brother. It's my brother and two of my closest friends. I stood in one wedding, and the other guy I went to high school with. So
okay.
And we go to one game each year, and this year we've decided to go to Brazil since we know that part of our schedule already.
Yep.
Yeah. And
the only game we know of so far.
As a sports guy, that is a good platform for you to be on. So to really push your brand. So I see that. I mean, that's yeah.
Well, I mean, I would go to the game anyways. Like I was definitely like, where else am I going to be? I go to every Eagles game.
Don't you go to basketball games for the Sixers though too? Don't y'all?
We do, but I think he did freeze. He looks kind of funny that way. Actually, the Sixers don't start until the end of October. The Flyers don't start until the end of September. The Phillies, it's not going to interfere with the playoffs because that's September. So we should be okay, even if the Phillies have a homestand. Brazil would trump Phillies.
Sure.
I would imagine so. Yeah, for sure. Especially since that's the first game ever played in Brazil, and you guys are running. I mean, that's like your biggest stage right there. One. I mean, outside of the Super Bowl, that's like your biggest stage, right? If you guys get to the Super Bowl.
Yes. I mean, it would be a pretty big stage, I would think.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there we go. I'm going to be going overseas. Well, it's a different sea, so I'm going to be going traveling for different games this year because I'm going to be over in London on June 8th and 9th for the Phillies versus the Mets. So a lot of overseas travel this year for the Philly sports guy. Philly sports guy goes global. And I'm already big in Germany. They know me well in Germany there. I sometimes give some information on a podcast. And so I learned my German through Google.
Interesting. Watch this, because I know we're talking about you're being global, and when you said that, it brought up something I wanted to tell you the other day, and So I was in. See, everybody knows Mattress Mac. You know how he does all those big bets, right?
Yep.
So I was up in Gallery Furniture the other day, and because I'm shopping for furniture for the new house and everything. When I was in there, and we were talking sports, and I was telling I do podcasts every now and then. And they, who do you podcast with? And I said, well, I don't know if you know, because he's a Philadelphia guy, but he's a Philadelphia sports guy. And like three of them were like, yeah, I know that dude. You're on a podcast with him? I said, well, I got to pay him, but yeah, I'm on a podcast. I got to pay for the right to be in the same. But they all knew who you were. Hey, it was
10% of my base, 10% of my TikTok base is from Houston. When we lost the World Series, there were a couple of videos that went viral of me in Houston congratulating everybody.
Yeah.
And it was such a big deal because they didn't expect that.
Right.
And I'm telling everybody, congratulations, guys. You guys deserve this. I know that this was, this is, you guys have been working towards this since you guys got caught cheating and stuff like that. So, like, I didn't bring up the word cheating. I didn't bring up the word
Jim
cheating. I was just
himself was there. Literally, like he was there. He was behind the booth there. So he's probably about maybe 3 or 4 feet behind me, Jim McAville, and even he turned his head. So I guess he knows who you are. So that's pretty cool. Man. I was like, hey, Pags cool. Definitely has got a reach out here. So
well, and that's because, like I said, I congratulated them, and I can lose with honor. You know what I mean? It was like that video that I made congratulating them right at the end of the game. You know what I mean? I'm sitting there and I'm drained. You know what I mean? Obviously, we just lost. Everybody is cheering, and I'm congratulating the Houston Astros. It's not the easiest thing to do, but when you lose gracefully, you lose gracefully. It's respected. It's respected.
Yeah, and I respect you for that. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, and it is. It's an honorable way to feel better about yourself because nobody likes a sore loser.
No, for sure.
Right, and I'm not really. Listen. I get critical of losses, but I don't wear the losses like some other people do.
Yeah.
I literally have to dismiss it. Losing the Super Bowl last year sucked. So after congratulating Houston, I then congratulate Kansas City, talk about how Patrick Mahomes is one of the best players in the world, you know what I mean, in this game. You got to give him that credit. And then as I'm trying to leave the stadium, I get a television camera in my face from Arizona saying, hey, we want to talk to you. I'm like, I'm not really in the mood to talk to, we don't care. We're going to talk to you now.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, let me rephrase this. We're talking now.
Yeah, exactly. And then they go get a Kansas City fan to stand next to me. So it's like, so one of these things is not like the other. Like you got somebody really excited and you got me going, it was a tough game to lose.
Yeah,
thanks for doing me dirty, guys.
Well, but still, though, hey, you know what they say? All publicity is good publicity. So
it definitely is.
You gotta still take it and roll with it. But Pags rolls with the best.
But that's what it is. You take it in stride. Obviously, I mean, I'm not crying over the loss. You know what I mean? It's not like I didn't bet my house on the Eagles winning. So that not only am I losing the game, I'm losing my place to live and stuff like that. It's like we lost the game that I didn't play in.
It's still emotional. It's still an emotional because as fans, right, we get invested just as much as the players do at some levels. We really do because
sometimes more than the players, right? Sometimes more than the players.
I agree with that.
Certainly, that last Eagles game, they didn't look like they were involved in it at all.
Well, you know what? And that's what I learned in the podcasting world. We're talking about people, different podcasters with different teams, and it really shows you how much we really do. We like our teams, and it's hard when our teams don't win because then we got to deal with other podcasters that are all under your stuff, like nobody over there.
Yeah, no, I mean,
but I love Pags. I love Pags, Bo. I love you because you guys are truly passionate about your teams, and I'm passionate about mine, and that's what I love about sports. Hey, sometimes you're eating humble pie. Which God, I've eaten a lot of humble pie.
No, I mean it's part of it, right? I mean, and you have to be critical. You have to be critical of your own team. You know,
Yeah,
I always laugh when you have part of the fan base that as soon as you say anything negative about your own team, they're like, "You're not a real fan," or any of this stuff. It's like,
yeah,
no,
and
no,
that's their love of the team coming out. That's not them being, because we have to be by it. Like we're podcast, we're talking about this. We have to dissect, even when we don't want to, because it's part of the game, right?
Well, and you can't, like, even if you were super passionate and you're just, my team's the best no matter what, you can't honestly tell me that you looked at every game you've ever watched and been like, that was as good as they could have played. I've seen that one time, right? Like,
yeah,
and that was actually our Super Bowl, the first one.
Well, I'll tell you what, I really hate
Chris Collinsworth. As good as they possibly could have played.
I hate any game that Chris Collinsworth calls, because every time that man comes on and they talk about a Cowboys team, you just know he's going against us. Chris Collinsworth. You know, I'm
for the Seahawks, that is the Troy Aikman, Joe Buck combo.
Yeah,
they don't love the Hawks, and they will find digs the whole time. It is hilarious.
You can feel it that they're doing. It's like,
oh yeah.
My dad's like, man, can we find another damn station? I hate this bias bullshit.
Yeah, right? No, it is hilarious.
He tells me to find another channel. I'm like, Dad, you're not gonna find it. It's not like you got 7,000 channels. You got like 10.
In the past, there's definitely been times that we've played the Troy Aikman drinking game of just like little slights that he'd throw out for the Hawks during a Monday night game.
Troy's good at it. He is. I've heard him. Yeah.
You're just like, oh, okay. Like they won. They actually like dominated this game, and they're like, yeah, they kind of sucked. And you're just like, did we watch the same game?
But you know what though? But that's why I like John Madden so much. John Madden always commented on the game, but he never knew which team he was actually favoring. Like he didn't like skew it one direction. He was all down the middle and, you know, kept it pretty honest. And that's one of the things I really admired about John Madden, is he had the ability to do that.
So with Madden, the best thing about Madden is his football knowledge was unimaginable, right? Like super smart guy, but his ability to convey that on screen wasn't really there. So you felt like you were getting smarter and dumber at the same time, because he would say stuff and you're like, what are you even talking about, man? Or like some of his phrases were some of the most hilarious phrases, because he'd be like, he's waiting for that play to develop and boom, he got developed. And you're just like, I mean, okay, you're not wrong, but
yeah, you're not wrong, but come on, we really need to say it like that. That's kind of obvious.
I mean, but nobody had more love for Brett Favre than John Madden, because everything was, you know, like somehow he would tie Brett Favre into just about every conversation possible. It was hilarious to listen to. But no, I miss the Madden Summerall grouping.
Oh, yeah.
Some of the best
they had on point. Like you could tell those guys really knew how to feed off each other.
For sure. Yeah, that was my favorite commentating duo ever.
I agree. And I was always a big fan. Hey, listen, I anytime I want to hear John Madden, I just watch The Replacements.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one too.
Yep. That's one of my favorite movies. I can watch that at any moment. And every once in a while, I'll see a Shane Falco jersey, and I'll call it out. I'll call it out. I'll be like, that's a Shane Falco jersey.
You get a fat man dance.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. I love when a fat man scores.
Yep.
You get a fat man score, and then you get a fat man dance.
That is 100% one of those movies that if you're just like scrolling through, it doesn't matter what part of it is that it pops up to, you're probably going to finish that movie out.
And I quote that movie.
I know where we are.
I quote that movie more than any other sports movie that I know. You know what I mean? Like where even Any Given Sunday has got, you know, a couple of lines from it. But, you know, Gene Hackman as the coach of that movie was also great. He goes, you know, like, and I say it all the time, greatness, no matter how brief, stays with a man. You know what I mean? Like that is a great line. You know, it's just those are things that
winners always want the ball.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the random moments where you're not even actually saying the quote, you're just
I think
it's just because he has a great way of. Gene could play a lot of various roles. He could play serious. He could play comedy.
Phenomenal actor.
He just makes it his own. You know, even when it's a comedy, he still makes it serious, but he kind of throws a little blurb in there every now and then, make it kind of funny.
Yeah.
I agree, man. It's
actor.
great to watch him.
I want the ball. You give me the ball. Give me the ball. You give me the ball. Yeah. All right, go sit down now.
If you were to see Gene
You know what I
Hackman
told you
though, in
about
a
bread?
movie, you wouldn't. Hey, if you were to see Gene Hackman in a movie, you wouldn't think you'd see Gene Hackman in. Go watch Birdcage with Robin Williams.
Yeah.
When he plays the uppity senator and he's going out and he's all in drag. Oh man, that's classic Gene Hackman.
That is funny.
Yep.
But
God,
yeah,
we really do talk
I haven't
about
seen that
crazy
movie in a
stuff.
long time. So, but I love, like I said, that's one of my favorite movies. And maybe sometime next week when football is over and we're done talking about the Super Bowl, we'll have our top 10 favorite sports movies debate, because I'm sure that could go on for days and days.
And there's so many good ones out there. Like
There are a
literally,
lot of good ones.
So many
There
good
are a
ones.
lot of good ones.
Yeah, there's some good ones, but there's only a few real great ones.
Oh, I agree
You
with
know,
that.
like
Yeah.
like there's like I'm not a big fan of The Longest Yards. You know what I mean? It's
No,
just
those
I'm
are the
not.
ones that kind of are goofy about it, but yeah.
Like another favorite movie of mine is like Victory.
Okay.
But
yeah,
again, it's a soccer movie. You know what I mean? So it's a little different, and it's a good movie. You know what I mean? It's kind of set in the period and stuff like that. The Naturals are a very good one as well.
Yeah,
Field
that
of
was good. Now,
Dreams.
what's that one movie that had Kevin Costner where he's the pitcher and he throws like the perfect game and then he goes off to try to find the goal, and all while the game is going on, he's reminiscing. I'll think about it in a minute. But anyway, he has a really good movie in that.
Like he's been in quite a few.
Mama agrees with me. I love it.
Yeah. No. The Replacements is awesome. He's been in quite a few baseball movies. Kevin Costner has. Like Bull Durham is a great movie, right?
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like, there's
Field
definitely
of Dreams. He's also in Field of Dreams, wasn't he?
Yeah,
he was in Field of
he's
Dreams.
actually in a bunch of baseball movies.
Yeah, then he's super draft day. I mean, Kevin Costner's in a lot of sports movies.
I wasn't a fan of Draft Day.
No, Draft Day kind of fell flat a little bit. The ending was okay, but it just was kind of. But I mean, it is Draft Day. I mean, come on, how hard is? I mean, it's kind of hard to make a really interesting movie about Draft Day. I mean, they did it. I think they did as good as they could with that subject matter.
Even The Rookie was good, right? Where
The Rookie
he was the
good.
coach. And he goes and throws the ball, and it looks like it was like a 70 mile an hour, but he told his kid that he's going to try out, and he's throwing 90s as like a 30. And that one was based on a true story, as I recall.
Oh, that's the one we had.
Right,
Dennis
it was.
Quaid in
That
it?
was
it Dennis Quaid?
that was the guy.
Yeah.
That is correct, and he was playing for the Marlins, right? Like that was
like
the team that he went on for. Another great line from there is when the guy says, "Hey, listen, if I tell the guys back at the office that I had somebody 38 years old, they're going to laugh at me. If I tell them that that I had somebody throwing 98 miles an hour, they're going to fire me."
That dude was even in a damn golf movie. Remember Ted Cup? He was even in a damn golf movie. He did everything but like swimming and basketball.
Cheech was the best. Cheech made that movie. Cheech made that movie.
Yep.
But wasn't that Dan? Was it him or was it Don Johnson? Don Johnson, I thought was in that movie.
For Love of the Game. That was in the movie I was thinking of. For Love of the Game is where Kevin Costner is a pitcher.
That's a good.
And it has that dude from not Dumb. It's got the real funny guy with the curly hair that plays the catcher.
Well, and
I can't remember his name, but
we have to
John
add
C.
Major
Reilly.
League in
John
there.
C. Reilly was the catcher. That's what it was.
Like Major League has to hit this list because that movie is amazing and full of one-liners.
Oh yeah,
and outside.
Well, anything with Bob Uecker's got to
That's
be
one
in
I
there.
use all the time.
Of course, that's like the one.
Better be in there.
But yeah, like I think of that, and then I think of Slapshot, still a great movie. Young Blood, great movie.
Yeah,
when you're starting
Youngblood.
into hockey movies.
Yeah,
Young Blood. Yeah.
Oh,
Ain't
yeah,
nothing
that's
better.
a lot
Ain't
of
nothing better to to soothe your pain than having tea with Mrs. B.
Yeah, there's a lot of good. Oh, All the Right Moves that had Tom Cruise in it. I thought that was a pretty good football movie. It was a high school football kid, though.
Oh yeah, I
And
actually
he
forgot
was
about that one. That
Matter of
was,
fact, hey, it was based out of Pennsylvania.
yeah, no, I forgot about that movie. It's been a long time since I saw that one.
Yeah. It's old school. It's a way old school.
Oh,
So
no,
yeah, we will bring this back. We will bring this back, and we got Linda with the Bad News Bears, the original one, the original Bad News Bears.
Yeah, it's got to
with
be the
Buttermaker.
original one.
Yep.
Yeah, the
Don't give me the
Buttermaker.
one that's got what's his face in it. Who's that
Billy
one?
Bob?
Kid? Yeah, don't give me the Billy Bob version, man.
No, it's gotta have, the guy who
I don't
became
know
the
that guy's
president.
name, but he's been in some older stuff.
Yeah, Walter Matthau. Walter Matthau.
Yeah, Walter Matthau. And it's got the kid with Jamie, whatever his name is, that smokes a cigarette. Oh, I love that. Oh, I love that. He's like
Yeah,
the best kid on the
that was.
team. That's like the
So
superstar. Oh my god.
Again, we'll spend 2 hours talking about this sometime next week.
Probably.
Yeah, like I said, we could go on for this for days. I can imagine. So it's almost easier to have it. We could do it. Hey, we're going to do baseball movies. We're going to do basketball movies. We're going to do football movies. We're going to do soccer movies. And then,
I feel like
And you better
basketball
put
movies-
Wimbledon in there. Wimbledon better be in.
Yeah, I feel like basketball movies is probably a pretty short, like that's probably like a 20-minute segment because you're like 2 movies in and then all of a sudden Air Bud is in there. So like there just wasn't a lot of great basketball movies.
Hey, see, I go back old school when we talk about basketball. The fish that saved Pittsburgh.
I thought Hoosiers was a really good. Now, again, another Gene Hackman.
Yeah, no,
movie.
that one was. See, we're already into Space Jam and stuff. Like there just wasn't a lot of great basketball movies.
Yeah, we start getting into Space Jam, then that's when the conversation goes right or left.
Yeah, boxing movies, same thing. Like so, boxing and basketball, like that might be. We might do the B movies, boxing and basketball. So White Man Can't Jump.
That's a solid one. That one was entertaining.
Horror Man Can't Jump. I love that. That's that one. I think you were watching the wrong one, Linda. Put that back in the X-rated category. Horror Man Can't Jump.
I'm pretty sure that one's still on VHS.
Or beta, depending on which one you got it first.
Oh man,
Hey,
was that the back room? Was that the back room of the Blockbuster?
Hey, is that the one you forgot to return?
And then you got, and then like I said, with hockey, you got Miracle and stuff like that. So there's a bunch of different movies. There's a bunch of different movies.
I thought they did a good job with Foreman when Foreman came out, that Foreman movie, and I thought they did a good job with Ali. What's his name? I thought those 2 movies were pretty good in the boxing. I mean, you got Rocky and all that, but to
be honest, I enjoyed Mighty Ducks. Emilio.
Oh, there you go. That's where you go left.
It's a different movie, but right guy.
Like Sandlot, then you go like that, but you're going to Sandlot. Sandlot for baseball movies is definitely up
it's
there.
solid.
Yeah, that's so. There's so many different,
Sure.
When we do basketball movies, we'll make sure to have Jack come on. So, because I'm sure Jack would be more than happy to talk about all the different boxing movies and stuff like that. Because there's definitely a lot more boxing movies than basketball movies. Yeah, with basketball movies, it is really tough because there isn't many. Because I even like when you talk about football movies, I like The Little Giants.
Sure.
The annexation of Puerto Rico.
Puerto Rico. I remember that. That's what it had Rick Moranis in it, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah. Oh man, it's been a while. Or even baseball. You got hardball or the one that had Keanu Reeves where he's the Betty and he's betting all them bets and he has to like take this baseball team, the Cucumbers. I think it's hardball. Hardball, I think is the name of it.
That was a good movie too. The one Rob just put up.
That you mean Invincible?
Yes. Yeah. That was a great movie.
Right.
I really enjoyed that one. That one was good.
That is a good movie. So
it showed all the crappy part of Philadelphia you ever want to see.
Still a good movie.
We still know Dallas sucks.
It is a good movie. Don't get me wrong. Hey, it is a good movie, man. Hey, take this pitcher of beer over to the Eagle.
So, but anyways, so yeah, we'll spend some time on that on movies, and then when I think of basketball, because basketball is the tough one, we would do basketball and billiards, billiard
Okay.
movies.
Okay.
That would play, I
There's
think.
billiard movie?
So
Oh,
if we're
wait,
doing
you mean that pool? Yeah. You're right. What was that? What was it? Easy Money?
It's one of them. Like we could start
Yeah.
talking about that all too, because it's like
Yeah.
the
Oh, no,
color
I
of
was just,
money, easy
no,
money,
Color of
the
Money.
hustler.
Color of
You
Money.
know, like it's
Oh,
so
yeah.
many different ones.
I forgot about billiards. Jeez, you're right. There is some good billiards movies out
Yeah.
there.
And then, of course,
Yeah.
still with basketball, you got Teen Wolf, right? Michael J. Fox.
Oh, and on that
never
note,
ends. It never
back
ends.
to you,
Because then
Pat.
you're Space Jam, and then Space Jam 2.
Exactly.
Let's just go right to Space Jam 2. So, anyways, but we'll do that next week after the Super Bowl. Arm wrestling over the top. Hey, listen. Yeah,
Marshall was a
and
good one, though.
that was Rocky. That was Rocky 2.5.
Kind of.
Really.
Yeah.
That really was Rocky 2.5. Because that came out just after Rocky 2 and before Rocky 3, before Clubber Lang came on the scene. So that literally was Rocky 2.5. And I know a lot of those guys from being a professional arm wrestler. The guy who won that actual tournament was, for lack of a
Oh, you're
better
talking
way
about
of
over
saying
the
it, he
Yeah.
top. Is that what you're talking about?
over the top.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember that.
that was a real arm wrestling tournament that happened in Vegas.
Yeah.
And the winner of that was John Brezink, and he was like the Babe Ruth of arm wrestling forever. Like he could not be beat for so long. He wound up like he was 240 pounds or 230 pounds airline mechanic who was just beating everybody. Like 400-pound biggest guys, biggest monsters in the world, beating them all the time. And right now, I know who the best arm wrestler in the world is right now, Levon Shevanishvili, because he's from Georgia,
Okay.
the country, not the state.
Right.
And he can't right now. He can't be beat. He cannot be beat at all.
How big is he? Just out of curiosity. Like, what's it?
Right now, he's probably walking at around 360, 370. He's 6'4", 6'5". I was at the last World Championships. It was the last time he lost a match, and he lost it to another Georgian. And his name was George Kavikvina, and that was the last time he lost. That this guy lost a match. The next time I saw him, he was at the World Championships, and he was just crushing people. But he lost weight. You could tell he was skinnier before because he lost weight. You have to lose weight to get in a certain weight bracket. And then, when he was back at the Zloty Tour, which is what they call it, in Poland, which is the professional world championships, he was unbeatable. And the guy who's like ranked second in the world is Canadian, really, Devin Lorette. He went up and tried his best and just couldn't do it. Just could not do it at all.
That's interesting. Interesting.
So, and there's a big contingent in Washington. Big contingent of arm wrestlers in Washington. When you go to the World Championships, there's like only a few areas where they come from. Pennsylvania, like northern Pennsylvania, like up in the Erie area and up in Vermont and Maine and stuff like that. There's a lot of arm wrestlers.
Okay. So there's a lot of competitions up in that direction.
And then of course, everybody knows the backup quarterback of the Bears had his father was a world champion arm wrestler. So
like a multi-time monster.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he's a great arm wrestler and a huge personality. Like he's probably the biggest personality in the arm wrestling world. So it's
okay.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, Travis Bajent is his name. His son's Tyson Bajent. So, but it's amazing. Like some of the things, I mean, I have in my professional career, I am 2-18, I think. So I'm not. I've won a match. And the match I won was a surprise. I shouldn't have won. My first match that I ever won was a big, big surprise. It was a big, big upset. Because like I said, I stink at arm wrestling. You know what I mean? I shouldn't win. Like if I'm in the seniors category, which is anybody over 50, I, even there I can't compete.
Yeah.
Those guys are monsters still.
Oh, sure.
Right. Well, arm wrestling, as long as you got your legs can be shot all to hell, but as long as you got a good arm and a good upper body, you can
No,
win.
people think that
I mean, I know some of it is lower body. Don't get me wrong, but
no, you have to. It's all technique. Like you can
oh
wrap
yeah,
your legs around the table and stuff like that. There's so many different rules that you have. The good thing that I have going for me is that I've got some really big hands. So that helps, but it only helps so much.
Yeah.
So literally, it's a lot more technique than anything else. And like I would practice, I was practicing a hell of a lot more now that I've got my arm wrestling table in my apartment. Now I will start practicing again. I will start because I do a lot of it's more or less technique and just pulling. You got to learn how to engage your back. Anybody who knows the physiology of how the muscle that attaches to your wrist goes all the way down to the opposite side of your back.
Mhm.
If you know how to engage that, you could just lean back and play with people. And that's what Travis does. He just plays with people. He could arm wrestle all day long and nobody will beat him.
Hmm.
that's
So
interesting. That is, well, I remember over the top where he kind of repositions his hand and he kind of comes
Yeah, it's
over.
like crushing their
I
thumb.
don't think you can really do. I mean, that's more movies, right? Like that's not like a legal technique,
not
is it?
true, not true. Once you have your hands tied, you could
Right.
do anything you want because your wrists are tied. You're not going to be able to get off. So
Yeah.
you could go like this if you want, but
Yeah.
it's different. It's a whole different scenario. So um, I there's people that I know that lose their wrist. Like I've got a big hand, but my wrist is not as strong as some of these other guys' wrists. So,
Right.
but I have the forearm strength. So there are times when somebody will try to take my hand and I'll lose my hand, but can still pin them because now they gave them that part. They give up a little bit because they see what happened and I can pull them down that way. So when
Hmm.
I'm doing practicing, I can do that a lot more. When you're doing it in a match, it's a much different scenario.
Sure.
Becomes
Oh, I would
so much
imagine
harder.
so. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah,
So it seems like you'd want your
there's
hand over before you'd want your hand back. That's like submissive. But if you had your hand over, it seems like that you'd have more momentum or
right
whatever.
when you have it like this and you're pulling this way,
Right.
you have control. You
Yeah.
have
Right.
control. When you're in a hook with somebody and you're hooking against somebody else, uh, the guy that I sponsored what got me into arm wrestling, and I sponsored a gentleman who had spina bifida and was getting up out of his wheelchair and beating guys. And I'll share some of this stuff with you. I've got some great videos and stuff like that I can put on here and share with you guys.
That's
Uh,
interesting.
I he wound up. I sponsored him to go to the national championships, and he won. And I said, I'm like, well, how do you stop sponsoring somebody after they win?
Yeah.
Got to go to the world championships. So
Right.
I figured if I was sending him and his coach to Budapest for the world championships, I was also going to go to Budapest.
Yeah, of course.
And I was going to film it all. And that's what we did. We filmed it all. And it was
Nice.
interesting because, when you have a couple of Americans with cameras and a microphone, everybody thinks you're CNN.
Oh yeah.
So there would be people coming off of the stage.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of Turkish, a lot of Turkish, a lot of um, Kazakhstan. So because in Kazakhstan, and in Turkey, they have classes in high school to teach arm wrestling. So
Oh,
you have every spot is held by somebody. It's like women, men, every weight class. So they have it there because when you win there, you get paid by the government.
Oh,
In the US,
damn.
they don't do anything like that. But if you bring back a gold medal, you get paid. Silver medal, bronze medal. If you medal, you get paid. So they go all out.
Wow.
They want to be
Now
the best.
that is interesting. But the Olympics, they don't pay the. Well, I guess that's what you're saying. We don't pay the athletes.
There is no arm wrestling in the Olympics.
No, I'm just saying like an Olympic medals though. I mean, are you saying like does the
So
okay? I got what you're saying.
yes,
There's no
for
Olympics.
Olympic medals in other countries, not the U.S., but in
Right.
other countries, especially countries like Russia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan. Uh, I mean, there are lots of stands that you would never even know about.
Oh yeah, I'm tracking.
Yeah, Belarus and things like that. When you
I mean,
win
we
a
got a
gold
Cowboy
medal,
stand right on this show.
yeah, when you win a gold medal, that is you get paid for that. You
That's
get paid a lot
interesting.
of money.
Hmm, that's cool.
So I
That's
mean,
interesting.
that's why it's such a different world over there.
Oh,
That's why
absolutely.
when you become an Olympic athlete, you've been training for this since elementary school, since
Right.
since kindergarten. They choose that you are going to be the one that's going to represent them because you have some type of talent, and they start honing in on that talent, and it really is a big deal. Um, Going the opposite way, that's what's going to make these enhanced games very interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Because
Oh
that's
yeah.
where a lot of that stuff occurs.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely.
they have you, and you can't call it cheating because they have the list,
Yep.
and there's always a new one that comes out that doesn't register on the list. So they get the new one, and then they get put up that to put it on the list. So you got to be very careful on what it is that you're ingesting and things like that for the Olympics and such. You don't have to worry about any of that when it comes to these enhanced games, which is going to be interesting. And I think
Oh,
that's where
absolutely.
you'll start to see the arm wrestling come back big. Because you remember Wild World of Sports. I know that that's before your time, Bo, but it's not before your time there, Jay.
No,
No, I
I
And
remember the
remember it.
Wild World of
I
Sports.
remember it.
yeah,
Well, no, you remember because you
the
saw it on
thrill of
TV.
victory and the agony of defeat. And you watch that skier just tumble down the mountain. But they used to have arm wrestling championships all the time on there. Like that was a big deal. You'd be
That
watching
was
that
a
arm
big deal.
wrestling.
I remember.
And they don't do that anymore. It's just not as big a deal. And I still will call arm wrestling matches all the time. When they have me do it, I usually go live on my page and I'll start doing arm wrestling competitions. So I love doing it, and I'll go sometimes. I'm just not in the shape that these guys are. It's
Yep.
just like
Well,
I'm
you're not
so
training like they are.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, these guys are
correct.
literally like putting all. I mean, you got a life outside of
Yeah.
that. Honestly,
Correct.
so
But
you're not on a
there was a
training.
time when I was doing it. And you know, I like I said, I did win 2 matches, so I was not completely shut out. That being said, we are at the top of the hour. See all of the different information that you get here, like with all the unique sports, the storytelling and such like that. Maybe tomorrow we'll talk about what you do to prepare for a championship game, because obviously we have Bo here wears his ring proudly all the time, and
Not today
Yeah.
though. Not today.
Okay. But you
Oh,
could tell us some of the things that have to happen in preparation for a championship game,
Sure.
since you have been in like even a semi-pro situation. And of course, tomorrow also at around 1 o'clock after the turn of the hour, we're going to have Hollis Thomas on with us, who played in Super Bowl 39 with the Eagles, the one that Belichick cheated. So, anyways. He'll tell you that story. Anyways, but to everybody, thank you for hanging with us. Check us out tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Have a great day, guys. Take care.